Welcome to the Book Carriers, your favorite book club podcast.
I'm Cassandra, the hopeless romantic book carrier.
I'm Angela, the logical book carrier.
And I'm Becca, the sentimental book carrier.
We are three 30-something best friends and busy moms who live vicariously through the stories we read.
So grab your cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's get lost in a great book together.
Hi, book carriers. Welcome to another episode. We are so happy to be here with you guys today. And I think that I am extra happy because we are introducing in this Book Yap episode one of my all-time favorite books. I am so excited for the girls to read. We'll be recapping it next week, but we're book yapping about it today, just going over some author information, some fun facts, and just going into a little bit more detail about the book. And the book of this week is Finding 13, and I am so excited.
Yay!
So, ladies, how are we feeling?
I'm super excited to be here. It's always a good time chatting with you ladies, talking about books and introducing this book that it's something completely new for me. I haven't ever read something like this, so I'm really excited to talk about it today and excited for our next week's recap of it too.
Yes.
Absolutely. So excited. So ready for this. I've been anticipating it. Ready for something a little different too than what we're normally used to. So I'm excited.
Personally, I cannot wait. This is my cup of tea. This is my jam. So I am so excited. And I've already read through the series. And so the fact that you guys are getting to experience this with me, I'm like chomping at the bit. And so I'm going to do a reread so that way it's all fresh on my mind this week. So that way I'm good to go for next week's episode. But we wanted to take some time today to talk a little bit about Miss Chloe Walsh and just about the genre in general, because we've focused so much on fantasy thus far. So, I mean, opinions and thoughts can change when the genre changes. So
I just remember Becca, she actually texted us a video of herself really just selling the book to us, just like in absolute tears.
Yes.
Moved. Just a complete, she's like, I am changed. This has changed me, and I need you guys to experience this with me. And I was like, all right, I'm down. Let's go. I'm ready for a book to change me. So let's go.
Yes.
Yeah. Or was it a little bit of a warning as to like what we're getting into and like, your heart is about to be broken.
Yes.
Is what I took it as.
Yes. But for me, like that's what makes a good book. Like if a book can bring emotion out of me, which doesn't take a whole lot, but if it can bring out some like really good heartfelt emotion for me, I'm pretty much sold on it. And this book is definitely has that aspect of it. This is what is so great about having not only a book community like Book Talk with a bunch of people, but having a close knit book community that I can send a video like that to and be like, please get wrecked with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, please experience this with me so I can speak to my book besties about it. And that's what this podcast is all about. Like, if you don't have that, let us be that for you, because it is so important to have that. So if you want to get emotionally destroyed, please read this book with us this week. Yes. So before we dive into like author facts, things like that, for those who don't know about the series, I thought I would take just a second to read the synopsis of the book. This is pulled directly from Chloe Walsh's website. Finding 13 is the first book in the Boys of Tommen series, and it says, set in the Cork, Ireland, the Boys of Tommen series is based around the lives of Johnny Kavanagh, Shannon Lynch, and lovable Gypsy. Side note, my favorite side character of all time. And their friends as they navigate their way through the prestigious private school Tommen College and prepare for adulthood. Full of humor and heartache, rugby, and romance, the Boys of Tommen are sure to capture your heart. Set during the time frame of 1999 to 2007 in the fictional town of Ballylagan, the series is filled with warm nostalgia and emphasizes on life before smartphones and technology, giving readers, young and old, a realistic insight to life as a teenager in the early 2000s. Capturing hearts around the world with its unbridled emotional content and realistic characters, Boys of Tommen dives headfirst into real-life issues and trauma with relatability and rawness. So pretty much everything about that screams that I'm going to love this book. There's like the nostalgia aspect of it, the rugby aspect of it, a school setting. Give me a school setting and sold. Even though this isn't like a boarding school setting, but I just love, I don't know, something about school settings. So, and we did want to take a moment as well because this book does touch on some pretty heavy trauma, some pretty heavy issues, like domestic violence. We want to make sure that we present this type of content with respect. We want to be mindful that we don't trigger anybody. We want this to be a safe space for anybody and everybody listening. So please, if those are issues that are going to be triggers for you, go ahead and skip this episode, maybe next episode. And we will, of course, list any hotline numbers because we do want to talk about this delicately because we know it can be a very harsh subject for many. So we did want to put that disclaimer out there. Okay, so now that we've said that for those that are still with us, so what do y'all think about that synopsis? What gets you excited about it, or what doesn't get you excited about it?
I'm so glad that you read that because I didn't read a synopsis and I just kind of picked it up and started reading it. But I actually enjoy the time setting. It's early 2000s and it's like so true, like before social media, before cell phones, before any of that stuff. That's intriguing to me that it's set in that time period.
I'm gonna have to agree with you, Becca. Put me in a school setting and I'm in love. You know, it kind of reminds me of, I was very much into the P.S. I Love You. Is that the book that was on Netflix?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the school setting just takes me back to my wonder years, you know, the many, many years, many, many moons ago.
Yeah.
Not too many moons ago, but
enough.
Enough. Just enough. And so, yeah, there's something so special and so nostalgic, and it gets me excited. Also, the whole rugby sports aspect of it, that's something very new for me. I wasn't really a sports person. When I think of rugby, literally all I think about is Friends.
Where Ross gets destroyed. Yes, yeah, that's a perfect reference for those that don't know anything about rugby. Yeah,
you got to go Red Ross or something, full Red Ross or something. That's what I remember.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm very excited, very, very excited about it.
Yeah. I love a sports romance. That's my jam. And so the second that anybody on TikTok is like, here's a sports romance and it was good, I'm like, all right, sold. I mean, like that's all it takes for me. But then reading the synopsis before I read it too, I was like, oh no, this is going to be deeper. This is going to be an emotional wrecking sports romance. This is not fluff. This is something deep. And that is like, to me, the perfect book. A sports romance with something that's going to make me cry. Perfect book. Like, I mean, anybody who's read like Say You Swear or Say You Swear is the first one that came to my mind. Another sports romance that has quite a bit of depth and made me cry and stuff. I mean, that's like, put it on my shelf. It will be a trophy for the rest of my life. So I'm excited.
By the way, before we continue, I meant to say, not P.S. I Love You, which is a good movie, but I meant to say To All the Boys I've Loved Before. There is a book, I think like the second, third book, it is P.S. I Love You or P.S. I Still Love You or something. It's part of the series, but it is To All the Boys I've Loved Before. It's set in that high school. Do y'all recall that book?
Yes, but the crazy thing is I knew exactly what you were talking about.
You did? Okay,
yes.
Good. Okay.
So I mean, like I had it I envisioned in my head the second that you said it. And I was like, yep, that's right. And I mean, we could have gone the whole podcast and we both would have thought we were right about that.
Yes.
But so Chloe Walsh is the author of this book, of this series. And so I thought I would read a little bit about Chloe Walsh again from her website. She has been writing and publishing new adult and adult contemporary romance for a decade. Her books have been translated into multiple languages. She's an animal lover, music addict, TV junkie, and she loves spending time with her family and is a passionate advocate for mental health awareness. She lives in Cork, Ireland with her family. So, and y'all will see as you read through the series that animal love is sprinkled throughout. And I think that is just, as an animal lover myself, a pet owner, dog lover, it's just like, But I will say, the second I see a dog in a book, my hackles go up because I'm like, are you about to use this for emotional trauma? Like, is this what you're going to do to make me like break? So so far I'm loving everything that I've read by her. She has a mixture. Whenever I was looking on her website, she has so many different series. I think she has a mixture of like high school romances, adult romance. I think she even has a few that have like a mystery element to them. So she kind of has a wide range of tropes that she does. She has the best friend to lovers, the enemies to lovers. And a lot of her series, though, I've noticed they kind of focus around a different sports. I think that's kind of where her strong suit is. And so I think I may have found like one of my all-time favorite authors. I'm excited to read other work by her.
I'm so glad that you brought up her little anecdote of her being a music addict, because I have read the book as well along with Becca, and that does play a part in it.
Yeah, because I think that one of the most amazing things about Chloe Walsh that I think is so different is that like she has an Instagram page, but it's ran by an employee of some kind, or maybe an agent, or it's not Chloe that runs her Instagram, but she communicates to fans a lot through Spotify. People follow her on Spotify and she'll upload a new playlist, and that's how we kind of get clues, or we get like, oh my gosh, she's about to release the next book because she just uploaded that couple's playlist. And so she communicates a lot through Spotify, which I think is so interesting. And it's like she keeps her cards kind of close to her chest, I feel like, but she gives us just enough, and she speaks to us through music. I think in Binding 13, there's playlists for Shannon, playlist for Johnny, and then there's also like song moments. And as music lovers ourselves, and especially like somebody who really appreciates lyrics and tying it to, sentimental book carryover here, like tying it to a moment and time, I mean, amazing. I love that she does that for her readers. So
yes. I love that. That is so creative and so special to do that for her readers too.
Yeah,
yes.
Music, these types of songs, they bring up that nostalgia feeling for you, or for me in general. I love learning about her and learning how much you see of her in her book. That is so cool.
Yeah. I mean, really, and like the setting being in Ireland, it's like she writes what she knows and like writes what her true passions are. And that's what comes across so authentic with authors, is somebody who's not trying to write somebody that they are so far from being themselves. And, she doesn't go into any depth of why she's a big advocate for mental health, or if she's experienced any of these traumas that she relates to in her book. Again, I think that's part of her. She does, I think, respect some privacy boundaries. I can tell just from her social medias and everything. I just feel like she does keep an arm's distance and to protect maybe herself. But it makes me wonder, because she writes trauma so well, and she's such an advocate for mental health, maybe what she's experienced in her own life. And that's her story to tell, and it's not any of our business. But it just makes me wonder if, because she writes all the other things so well, that maybe it comes from a place of personal experience. But
yeah, no, I totally
that's just speculation.
That. Yeah. I totally respect that. Totally respect her wanting to keep to herself and let her work speak for itself.
I think Ireland needs to be on our bucket list of trips to take, because just the way that it's described in the books, and whenever I was looking up stuff about Cork, where they're from and where the book is set, I'm just like, man, I think we need to go there. So,
oh yeah, it'd be fun.
It's a beautiful place. I'd love to go one day.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about sports romance as a genre, how we feel about it. I think I've already kind of explained how much I love it, but what are y'all's takes? Are y'all excited to kind of dive deep into this different genre, or are you reluctant? Am I forcing you down a path you don't want to go down?
Not
Angela, I'm looking at you.
Okay, yes, Angela, let's hear from you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sports romance. So when you say sports romance, I don't know it. I just don't know it. I'm ignorant to it. I have never read a sports romance. So I don't know what my experience is going to be. So because I don't know it, I'm, I guess, reluctant in that way, because I don't know what my experience is going to be. But I'm open to it, and I'm excited about it. I mean, I've seen movies and TV shows with like the sports romance, and it's a lot of fun, and it's cute and romantic. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm excited and open to it, but I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I've been worried about you, to be honest. Because there have been like a couple of books like Icebreaker, which is in a different category. That's much more fluff than this. This book has a lot more depth, in my opinion. So I think that you will, if there was a sports romance, like the sports element of it really is minimal. I don't even know if we should really be calling it a sports romance. Like, it's there in terms of that's what drives Johnny, but the actual sport, sitting down, having scenes of the game being played is minimal. But I've worried about you because I think like you started Icebreaker, you hated it immediately.
Well, I didn't hate Icebreaker. I haven't picked it back up.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you made an entire TikTok about how you regret buying the book. So
yes, but I just meant like I'm not going to purchase those books to have physical copies of them, but I'm willing to read them. I think I said in the post, like these type of books, I would check them out from Libby or like if they're on Kindle Unlimited, but I wasn't going to make a point to have them on my bookshelf. But it's not like my go-to, it's not yet because I haven't experienced it. So I don't know. We'll find out next week how I feel about it.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear your take on it. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to the most for next week, is because I think you've tried a few just like non-fantasy like fiction books, and I don't think you've really,
but like very minimal. Like I can't even tell you another book that I've tried reading that wasn't non-fantasy.
I know.
So that's why I'm excited. I do have a question though, because I am going into this like really ignorantly into like this genre and like this author. I know nothing. So this book is technically considered YA, like young adult.
Yes, but I wouldn't recommend it for YA.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's like maybe a disclaimer or something in it where she says this is for this is young adult, but
for 16 and up.
I think it said 18 and up.
I just read. Yeah, I just read that it was 16.
But yeah, it's and I've seen a few TikToks about that as well, that people have mentioned, that it's recommended for 16 and up, but I wouldn't even recommend it for a 16-year-old. I think, and this is more like a cultural thing, I think in like the European countries, they're a little bit more relaxed with certain topics, certain like sexual content and more explicit scenes, maybe is a better way of saying that. And so I just think that they're not as prudish with that as like maybe here in America, we're a little bit more like I would not want my 16-year-old reading that, and so I think it's just more of a cultural thing. And that's why I think a lot of adults enjoy this series, but I wouldn't recommend it to a 16-year-old. I would say at least 18 for sure.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point, Becca. But I mean, they have like nude beaches over there.
Yeah.
And so they're more open and comfortable with like nudity and sexual content.
Yeah, it's a little bit more crude. And I think too, like their school, the way that their school system is built, is structured, is different. They even call it like a college. And so I just think it's like once you're 16, you're grown, where I think here in the United States, we're still a little like, you're still a baby. But yeah, it is considered YA. Yes, technically.
Okay.
Yeah, but Cassandra, what are your thoughts on sports romance and the genre in itself?
Well, I mean, having read it, I will say that I would classify this more as like a realistic fiction with the side plot having a sports nuance to it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't really know either, Angela, because I haven't really read much sports romance. I've read a lot of realistic fiction, so I don't really even know what a sports romance really is. Like, I'd be interested to check out Icebreaker just for the fun of it.
I'll let you borrow it.
Yeah.
You can have it.
Yeah. But no, I am willing to try anything, especially if, one of my friends recommends it to me. So yeah, I was very much open to it and I have enjoyed it, I will say.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah. No, Icebreaker is a good time. I think if you're looking for a little bit more of just fluff, it's a little bit more on like the smutty side.
Oh.
Whereas like this, I think touches, I mean, you really don't even get smut in this series. It's a hockey romance for those that don't know, but yeah, sports romances for me. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask you, Becca. So what is it about sports romances that you enjoy? What is it about them?
I think that's just my type. Like I love athletes. I always have. I grew up in a family where we loved sports. We loved especially baseball. Grew up a Texas Rangers mega fan, went to all the games, had season tickets. I mean, it was our jam. So I grew up where there was always a game, a tennis match, something on the TV. So I think even though I'm not personally athletic, I've always been attracted to an athlete. And like my husband was like soccer player, football player, track star in high school, and he still like plays soccer recreationally. I think going and watching him play soccer is like my version of like foreplay in a way, because I just like love it so much. Like I just like, that's one of the things I love most about him. And I think that athletes have like a certain type of discipline to them that I find very attractive in like somebody that I was looking to date. And so I think for me, when a girl is attracted to somebody in a sports romance book, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like that, totally understandable. And also, so often in sports romances, it's not typically an athlete with an athlete. It's almost always like the reader, girl catches the eye of the star quarterback. I mean, that's a tale as old as time. And that's literally how I saw myself growing up. And so I think it's just personally my type.
Yeah, I like that. I totally agree with like, athletes have a certain discipline and like certain characteristics that they need to be an athlete. Makes them very attractive.
And so that's what Renee, my husband, is like when he wants to go for a run or he wants to do this or whatever, needs to go work out, and I'm like drowning with the kids, and I'm just like, no, but then I'm like, no, this is why like I love you, so that's okay. You can go ahead. That's fine. So yeah, we want to take some time to also talk about the cover of the book. Also, because she wrote this book in Europe, she has a totally different publishing company for those books. So the UK versions and the US versions, two different publishing companies, two different covers. So I, of course, have the US one, and Bloom is the publishing company. And I've noticed, looking at my bookshelf, how many Bloom published like books I have. Clearly, their covers do something for me. Like they got it like down. So what are your thoughts on it?
Pretty gorgeous. Not gonna lie, attracts the eye. Love the colors. I like how it looks a little steamy, and it's just like the mix of the blues and the pinks. Love it. Yeah, we have to show off the other one. Are you gonna show off the other one?
Yes, yeah, but I wanted Angela's thoughts on this one first.
Does it grip you?
Yeah, it's like non-descriptive. Like I don't like just looking at it and going into it blind. I'm like, what is this about? Like binding 13? I'm like, binding? What type of binding? Yeah. What type of binding are we talking about?
How spicy are we getting here?
Yeah, like what exactly does that mean? So it's just it's like brings up so many questions for me, and like the cover doesn't answer any of those questions, which I guess is intriguing about it. So
yes. Yeah,
the title is like, mysterious. I like it.
Yeah, and I think that one of my favorite things about these covers is that you kind of get a foreshadowing in every one of them. So like Keeping 13 looks like it's kind of being like licked by flames a little bit. So what's gonna happen there? And like, so on and so forth. With Joey's books too. And so once you've read them, the covers make so much sense. And so that's one of the things that I like about it too, is that, like you said, it's a little mysterious, but you do find out why. And then of course, by the way, disclaimer, we've talked so much about consumerism and not needing to buy second editions, not needing to buy whatever. And the first thing I did whenever I saw this was I was like, add to cart, because so I'm a hypocrite. Okay. I'm a hypocrite.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It happens.
Barnes & Noble came out with some special editions of Binding 13. Cassandra and I both picked up one of these. It has these like really pretty light pink edges and this kind of
holographic.
Holographic, metallic-y.
So even though I love that this one has some like interest in the book, and that like whenever you get done reading it, you can understand it a little bit more. This one doesn't really have that aspect of it, but I love light pink edges. I mean, our whole podcast is pink, clearly. Like when I saw this, I was like, how can I not? And I like looked at Angela. She was like, you don't have to ask my permission. You can buy it if you want. And I was like, I have to have it.
Yeah.
But I think one of the other things about the book specifically is that like these, in the original one, these pages are so thin and it's so floppy. And so I was excited to get this one because it is a thicker than the original because the pages are thicker. It's not quite as tall, but it's just so much more comfortable to read. So I'll be doing my reread on this one.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. I just love it. I had already read some of it. I don't know how far I was into it. And I think at that point, I really didn't know what the title meant, really. I hadn't put anything together. I just saw it and I just I need it. I don't have a physical copy. So this is my only physical copy. And
She did not buy into consumerism. She just bought her one copy.
Well, I can't say that I wouldn't if I didn't see this. There's just something. So I just was like, okay.
It's so pretty.
And be mine.
Yes. They're going to release that same edition of Keeping 13. I think they're doing pre-orders right now. And I'm like, do I need it? But it's suddenly I understand the hype. I didn't get the hype with the Fourth Wing, which means maybe this is more my style. So maybe I understand a little bit more where people were coming from with the Fourth Wing, needing every copy and every whatever, but because I kind of feel that way with this series, because this is becoming very near and dear to my heart really fast. I think about this series all the time. All the time. Consumes my thoughts. So so I'm excited for y'all to dive in.
So I have to say one more thing about the cover. The book, this copy here on the inside, when you open it, it has a little talk about nostalgia and the library, borrowing the book.
Yeah.
I am geeking out over
this. That
is
so cute.
It is taking me back to high school and elementary school when we would check out books and you get your little card. I guess that would be elementary school more so.
Yeah.
But it's got the card in there showing who's borrowed it. And, it's got borrowed by Shannon and Claire and Lizzie and Gibbsy. And
Gibbsy's handwriting's a little girlier than I expected. For those that are just listening on audio only, we're looking at the special edition of the Barnes & Noble special edition of Binding 13. On the inside, it looks like a little library card.
It's a pink library card in there. Cute. So does your copy have that?
Yeah.
The original one?
No, not the original. No.
That's such a cute little, take on it, especially talking about nostalgia and the 90s, the 2000s. I love that. And I don't know how much, Chloe Walsh had to do with that, or was it just a Bloom's? Is that what they're called? Bloom's?
Bloom, yeah.
Bloom Publishing.
Bloom, the publishing company. I don't really know, but I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Gushing over it.
That is so cute. It's so fitting. I feel like it fits the aesthetic of the book or the vibe of the book too.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Little hearts, that handwritten, pen-written hearts and things. It's just so personal, something that it feels.
Yes. I really can't get over
personal.
Gibbsy's handwriting.
It is.
They have so many fonts to choose from.
I just find it so interesting because he's also the only guy, but he would be one to borrow it.
Yes.
I'm surprised he wasn't the first.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's such a great point. Awesome.
So cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so to end and wrap up today's video, our book yap, we want to take a moment to speak about the dedication. We always take a moment to do that. As a sentimental book carrier, I love dedications. I think we all do. I think it adds so much to the depth of what the author was thinking and feeling and who they're doing this for. And so we wanted to read the dedication to Binding 13. And it says, I would like to dedicate Binding 13 to anyone who's ever had a dream they dared to chase with insatiable hunger and drive. This story is for you. And so I just love that. I love that so much. I mean, I know I'm biased. She can do no wrong, in my opinion. But even the dedication makes me man, that feels authentic. That feels real.
Kind of makes me want to tear up too, just having read the book. Angela, I'm sorry, I'm so excited to see your thoughts about this book.
I'm so excited to see Angela's thoughts.
I'm so excited to talk about the book. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so much fun, and how much the dedication, how much it means to the reader. but also how much it means to, you know, the story itself. So
Yes.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's something so relatable to that, you know, especially, you know, in high school, you know, you have your desires, your main things. Like mine was theater. I was like, I am gonna do it and I'm gonna be good at it, or else I'm not gonna do it at all, you know. So it's just something, just reminds me so again, that nostalgic feeling. So
Yeah. That
just a
hunger
dedication.
and drive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it. It's intriguing to me. So, like, I want to read the story now, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do as soon as we wrap up this episode.
I'm so excited. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reread also. So we'll take some time this week. We'll read through the book, and then we'll catch up next week and go over a recap of the actual book. So, any last thoughts, ladies? Anything else we would like to discuss?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up today's episode, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, we love you guys, and we can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of The Book Carriers.
We hope you enjoyed diving into this week's read with us as much as we did.
Thank you so much for joining us on this literary adventure. Your support means the world to us.
If you loved today's episode, don't forget to follow us on social media for updates, behind-the-scene fun, and more bookish content.
And if you're feeling generous, please rate our podcast 5 stars. Your reviews help other book carriers find us and join our growing community.
Remember, we'll be back with a new episode every week, catching up on our latest read.
Until next time, keep reading and living those amazing stories.
Bye for now.
Happy reading!